Hi there, my name is Lucinda Watkins. I am a hiking guide as well as a personal trainer and group fitness instructor. What I'm talking about today is stretching your hips. Before I get started on some of these fantastic hip stretches that I love, there is a few differences between a dynamic stretch and a static stretch. So dynamic has lots of movement. You can do this as a warm-up. It's, keeping things moving, moving those joints, that sort of thing. Yeah, this kind of stuff. So that's your dynamic movements. Now, a static movement is where you go into the stretch and you hold it. Those should only be done after your workout, your walk, your hike, whatever it is that you're doing. That can be done after. So you really want to make sure that you've done the work and the warm-up before you do a static stretch. So I'm going to show you kind of a combination, but this in particular is meant to be used after a workout, after a hike, after a walk, for those tight hips. So that being said, there is kind of a combination of both, but for our purposes here today, we're going to do that after your work. So one of my favorite, we're going to start with the standing ones, is heel over knee. So I'm lifting that above my knee joint and I sit down into it. Anytime you're stretching, you need to listen to your body. If this right here is more than enough stretch, do it. If you can sit down and just gently push a little bit, great. But listen to your body. This is not a competition. When we're talking about stretching, I don't want you competing. I want you simply listening to your body. It should feel like a good stretch, but it shouldn't be pain. So I like to kind of sit back, gently push here, and that definitely gets into the hip, doing both sides. Now, you should be holding these for 30 seconds or more. For the sake of the video, I'm going to kind of go through them, teach you, so that you can do them on your own. Okay, so that was our heel up over top of our knee. The second one I like to do that's standing, and some of these are getting into hips and glutes, but they're a team, they work together. So crossing my leg over, reaching forward. Same thing. You don't need to be completely forward with your hands flat on the ground. I'm going down till I feel that nice stretch, and that's where I'm going to hold for my 30 seconds. I'm not going to keep going until there's pain. So listen to your body. It might look different for you. This might be your stretch. You might be all the way forward with your feet, with your hands flat on the ground. That's okay. That's all right. Listen to your body. See, and I can get lower on one side than the other. So I've got some tightness happening. And that one definitely gets into the glutes, for sure. They work together. We're doing both. That's okay. So those are our standing ones. We're going to go down to the ground for our 90-90. Now, this is one of my favorite hip stretches. And why it's called 90-90 is the degree of angle on my leg and on my leg. I'm not going to tuck this in. I'm not going to tuck this in. I'm leaving those out in 90 degrees, and I'm sitting upright. All sorts of stuff we can do here. Add in some rotation, which I kind of like. You can lean back if you want to, and rotate those knees from side to side, kind of a traveling 90-90. I like to kind of do those as well as some rotation into our trunk. And then to hold this, you can lean forward over this part of the leg, whoop, and hold here. You can come this way and hold. You can come over your foot and hold. So it's going to get into that hip in different ways, and always make sure we do the other side. Forward, like I said, holding for 30 seconds. For today, I'm just showing you how to do them. 90-90s, I like these. So good for getting into the hip. Now, moving into a slight variation of that is you can put your feet on the ground, and these ones are called windshield wipers. I love these ones. These are my favorite. I do these after hiking. Feels really good, gets those hips moving, works out any kinks. The last one I want to show you is called pigeon, which is actually a yoga move. Yeah, yoga, like it. Okay, so what you want to do, and listen to your body. There's like 7 different levels of this one. So I want you to stay at whichever level you feel the stretch. Straightening your leg like so. This might be it for you. Step 1, that's okay. Hang out here. Step 2 is I'm going to straighten that back leg, so where you can't see the whole thing. I'm going to line it up with my head. So I'm thinking about sinking those hips closer to the ground. I'm wanting to keep this fairly straight, and then I am resting into it. So this could be step 2. Step 3, step 4. And I want you to hang out here. I want you to hang out 30 seconds or more. I like to watch TV and do this. Stretching in through the hips. The more you do it, the easier it's going to be. And the more you'll be able to feel those hips sinking toward the ground. That's what I want you to think of. Sometimes I reach back and be like, okay, what's that hip doing? So yes, different variations. Make sure you do both sides. That one's called pigeon. And those are my hip stretches. So those are some of my favorites. There's probably a million more, but I wanted to give you just a little intro of how to get those hips stretched out after your workout, after a walk, after a hike.